Madhura. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then embraced Shiva's Pandit and with his arm around his neck began to speak to him in sweet words. So we see that this is so very sweet of the Lord, how he is dealing with his devotees, his dear devotees, that he's embracing Srivas Pandit and placing an arm around his neck and speaking to him in very sweet words.
Tumi dekha pabe ara kehana dekhiba. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu requested Srivas Thakur, perform congregational chanting daily and be assured that I shall also dance in your presence. So if we remember, Srivas Thakur's house is the place where this whole Sankirtan movement began. So in the Srivas Angan. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling him that please continue that Sankirtan, please continue that congregational chanting every single day and be assured that I shall also dance in your presence. So whenever the Kirtan happens at Srivas Thakur's Angan or in his courtyard, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is personally present. That is his promise here. And what else he's saying? You will be able to see this dancing, but not others. So Srivas, whenever you will perform this Sankirtan, I will personally be present there and I will be dancing and you can see me. But others will not be able to see me. But then please be assured that I'm there.
Take this prasadam of Lord Jagannath's and this cloth and deliver them to my mother, Shachi Devi. After offering her obeisances, please request her to excuse my offenses. So here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is sending the gift of Lord Jagannath, prasad and the cloth, and he's requesting Srivas Thakur that please hand it over to my mother Shachi Devi, offer on my behalf, offer my dandavats to her, and ask her for forgiveness, to excuse my offenses.
So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is, we may feel that he's sort of lamenting, but why is he lamenting? Let's read. I have given up the service of my mother and have accepted the sannyas order. Actually, I should not have done this, for by so doing, I have destroyed my religious principles. So according to my religious principle, the code of conduct, I was expected to take care of my mother. But what did I do? I left my old mother and I have taken sannyas. So now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is feeling sad about it and he's saying, because of that, what I have done, dharmanash, I have destroyed my religious principles. Tanra prema varsha ami, tanra seva dharma, taha chadi kari achi, vatulera karma.
I am subordinate to the love of my mother, and it is my duty to serve her in return. Instead of doing so, I have accepted the renounced order. Certainly, this is the act of a madman. So here, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, actually, my mother has given me so much of love, care, and affection, and it is, of course, my duty to serve her in return, especially in this old age. Instead of doing that, I have accepted sannyas order. So this is a mad person only will do this. Vatule kabala ke mata nahi lavya dosha e jani mata more na karaya dosha.
A mother is not offended by her mad son. And knowing this, my mother is not offended by me. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling that though I have not followed my duties towards my mother, yet my mother, because I am her son and because I am so dear to me, dear to her, that is why she's not offended, she's not angry.
Kikaya sannyase mora prema nijadhana ye kale sannyasa kayu channa hailamana. I had no business in accepting the renounced order and sacrificing my love for my mother which is my real property. Actually, I was in a crazy state of mind when I accepted sannyas. So here Lord is explaining that actually that he's saying that I had no business at all. Ki kaya sannyasi mora prema nijadhan. That I have renounced, I have accepted this renounced order, and what I have sacrificed for that? I have sacrificed my mother's love, my love for my mother. That is what I have sacrificed, which is actually my real property. So actually, we see that there is so much of love and affection between the Lord and his devotee, and especially in this case, we see that the other devotees are able to meet and serve the Lord, but the mother, she is a great devotee of the Lord. She has, the Lord has accepted that Sachi Mata as his own mother. So we can understand the kind of devotional service and love that he has for the Lord. So Lord is saying that she's not able to serve me. So actually, my love for my mother, my reciprocation of my mother, that is what my real property is, and that is what I have sacrificed by accepting renounced order. So that's why he's lamenting. Actually, I was in a crazy state of mind and I accepted sannyas. Nila-chale achomoni tahara agyate madhya madhya asimutanra charana dekite.
I am staying here at Jagannath Puri, Nilachal, to comply with her orders. But at intervals, I go see her lotus feet. So now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as we would remember, that Sachi Mata had made this specific request that rather than going to Vrindavan or any other part of India, why don't you make your base at Jagannath Puri? Because devotees from Bengal would often keep going and coming from Puri, so that way Sachi Mata would get some news about her son. So that request he has followed, and that is why he is telling that Nilachale acho muni tahara agyate. On your instructions or on her instruction, I have come and I am staying at Jagannath Puri. Also, one point we should take into consideration that this lamentation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this is not based on his bodily attachment to his mother. This is actually on a spiritual level, because he knows that what type of a devotee her mother is and how much spiritual connection is there. So here Lord is feeling sad because he is not able to be with one of his devotees. So this is spiritual, this thing we should not misunderstand with the material calculations, that it's not so much to do with the
Material
son
attachment.
and it's not material attachment. It's not just the son and the mother. It is much more than that. It is beyond that. It is at a transcendental level.
And here Lord is saying, Madhya Madhya asimutanra charana dekite. So at intervals, actually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is going and seeing Sachi Mata's lotus feet. Nitya yai dekhi muni tahara charane spurti jnane te hota satya nahi mane. Indeed, I go there daily to see her lotus feet. She is able to feel my presence, although she does not believe it to be true. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saying that he goes there daily, he for having darshan of the lotus feet of her mother, and Sachi Devi is also able to feel the presence, but she does not believe it to be true. She is able to feel Spurti Jnana. She is able to feel the presence of her son, but then she does not believe in it. Ekadina Shanya Anna Vyanjan Pancha Sata Shaka Mocha Ghanta Brishta Pato Nimba Pata Limbu Adakhanda Dadi Dugda Khanda Sara Shaligrame Samarpiden Bahupahara.
One day, my mother Shachi offered food to Shaligram Vishnu. She offered rice cooked from shali paddies, various kinds of vegetables, spinach, curry made of banana flowers, fried patol with nimba leaves, pieces of ginger with lemon, and also yogurt, milk, sugar, candy, and many other foods. So he's describing that one day Sachi Mata cooked so many varieties of preparation, and she offered in her altar, at her house altar, where Shaligram was there. So she offered all this. Prasādam
Nimaira Priya Mora Esava Vinjana. Taking the food upon her lap, mother was crying. Karena Krandan crying to think that all that food was very dear to her. Nimai. So all this food that she was offering to the Lord, she was thinking that all of this food is so dear to my own son, and thinking that she was crying. Nimai naika etha ke kahir bhujana mora dhyane ashru jale bharila nayana.
So I'm sure all the mothers who are reading this can connect so much more to this, that if like the mother has cooked all the things which are child's favorite, and she knows that for some reason child will never get to eat this because she's cooking with so much of love, and her child is not there to eat, and she's just thinking back, reflecting back that how much Nimai loves this food. So she is saying, Nimai is not here, who will accept all this food? As she meditated upon me in this way, her eyes filled with tears. So she just welled up thinking about Nimai and what Nimai would be eating now, and all these things which he used to eat with so much of love, all these preparations. He's not here, don't know what my son would be eating. So thinking like that, her heart was full and she was like crying. Her eyes were filled with tears.
And when a devotee is completely absorbed in the Lord, thinking of the Lord, how can Lord
not think
of the devotee, not reciprocate? Shigrayamuni Sārvabhauma Bhakshana Shunya Patra Dekhi Ashru Kariyamajana. While she was thus thinking and crying, she was just crying, tears were flowing. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saying, I immediately went there with great haste and ate everything. Shigra, he went with great speed and ate everything. Seeing the dish empty, she wiped her tears away. What happened? Just now, all these items, all the dishes were full. She had offered it to the Lord, and then she was thinking, what? These are all items favorite of my son. He's not here. Who will eat all of this? And the tears had welled up in her eyes. She could not see. She was just crying, and then she opened her eyes and she saw all the pots are empty. What happened suddenly? कि अन्ना व्यंजना खाइला शून्य के में पाता बाल गोपाल की बा खाइला सब भाता.
She then began to wonder, who had eaten all that food? Why is the plate empty? She wondered, doubting that Bal Gopal, the deities, whether they have eaten. What has happened to the food? I brought the whole plate of bhoga here and suddenly everything has vanished.
Kiva mora kyatam
Kiva
mora kathaya mane brahmana gela Kiva kona jantu asi sakala khaila. So she's thinking, what happened? She began to wonder whether there had actually been anything on the plate in the first place, whether she brought an empty plate or something was placed in it. So that doubt she got. And then again, she thought that some animal might have come and eaten everything. So when she had offered, and then she was so lost in her thoughts of her son and she was crying. So maybe some animal came and ate, or she forgot to put anything on the plate. So she was completely bewildered. Kivami anna patre brahmena badila eta chindi paka patra yana dekila.
She thought, perhaps by mistake, I did not put any food on the plate. So thinking, she went into the kitchen and saw the pots. She was thinking, maybe I have not taken the food, and then she goes to the kitchen. Because sometimes we also do something absent-mindedly. So she's thinking, maybe I was so absent-minded that I just brought an empty plate and I did not keep the preparations there.
And the plates were so well
clean
eaten that they were appearing clean. Anna vyanjan purna dekhi sakala bhajane dekhiya samshaya haila keshu chamatkar. When she saw that all the pots were still filled with rice and vegetables, there was some doubt in her mind, and she was astonished. So now the plate in which all the preparations were there and were offered to the Lord, that plate was empty. And then she, thinking all this, whether I brought an empty plate or some animal ate or Bal Gopal ate, what happened? So she came back to her kitchen where all the preparations were made and then she saw all those pots still had rice and vegetables in them. And then she was completely astonished. Ishane bolana puna sthaine le paila punarapi gopala ke anna samatila.
Thus wondering, she called Ishan, the servant, and had the place cleaned again. She then offered another plate to Gopal. So in this whole confusion, she was not very clear what is happening, but then anyways, she called the servant, got the place clean and offered another plate.
He mataya bekari uttamarandana more khao yai te kare utkantaya rodana. Now, whenever she prepares some good cooked food and wants to feed it to me, she cries in great anxiety. So that incident happened, and now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying that whenever now this happens, whenever she prepares many items which are, which she knows that her son likes, good cooked food, and she wants to feed me, then she will just cry in great anxiety that my son is not here, what if he eats? So this, as Sugita has explained, it's very important to understand that this relationship between Shachi Mata and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not at all at a bodily level. It is at the level of Vatsalya Ras, the Lord and the devotee who have their affection and love is of a parental affection for the Lord. Tanra premiyani amar karaya bhojani antare mani sukha bayana himane.
Being obliged by her love, I am brought there to eat. Mother knows all these things internally and feels happiness, but externally she does not accept them. So within her heart, it's a mother's heart and it's a devotee's heart. So within her heart, she knows that actually my son, when I prepare with lot of love, my Lord, who's in the form of my son, he comes and he accepts that. But then to the whole world, she cannot tell. So internally she feels happiness, but then she does not talk about it. She does not openly believes in that.
Such an incident took place on the last Vijayadashmi day. You can ask her about this incident and thus make her believe that I actually go there. So Shachi Mata internally feels that, yeah, maybe my son comes and eats. But she's not able to actually conclusively believe in that. So here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is explaining all this in great detail to Srivas Thakur, saying, you are going back. So you please tell. And you give a specific reference of this recent incident that took place on Vijayadashmi and tell her that actually, whenever she cooks like this and she offers and she's thinking of me, actually I come and honor that prasadam and that food. So please, you go and tell her that. And that she should accept. She has some acceptance in her heart, but she is not consciously able to accept that. So please make her do that. While
describing all this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became a little overwhelmed. But just to finish bidding farewell to the devotees, he remained patient. So Mahaprabhu himself became very transcendently emotional, remembering all these things. But then he remained patient. And now we will see he will start talking to some other devotees.
So this also happens when devotees remember the Lord and his beautiful and wonderful pastimes, like Bhishma Dev in Srimad Bhagavatam, and he's seeing the Lord, he's offering his prayers to the Lord and calling him as Vijay Sakha and Parth Sarthi, and so like that he's saying, and then he's remembering that how the Lord having a whip in his right hand and holding the reins of the horse in the left, and he's taking the chariot of Arjuna and he's covered with that dust which is blowing everywhere because of the horses are running here and there. So all that vision is coming to Bhishma Deva and he's feeling so ecstatic. And here we see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu describing and discussing all the devotees. He's also feeling overwhelmed.
Raghava Pandite kahe vachana sarasa Tomar Shuddha Preme Ami Hari Tomar Vacha. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu next spoke some relishable words, Vachana Sarasa. So with ras, some relishable words to Raghav Pandit. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is actually changing the topic. So Shachi Mata, he spoke to Srivas Thakur, and then now he's turning towards Raghav Pandit. What did he say? I'm obliged to you due to your pure love for me. So actually in this section, we will see it's such a sweet section. Mahaprabhu is glorifying all his devotees while bidding them farewell. And simultaneously to each one of them, he's giving some instructions also. So like for Srivas, he told two things. What are those two things? First thing, that do the Sankirtan daily and I'll be personally present whenever you are doing Sankirtan. Second, he's sending some prasad for Sachi Mata and he is sending a message for Shachi Mata to make her believe that Mahaprabhu actually comes and eats whenever she prepares nice preparation. Now he's talking to Raghav Pandit. Iha Krishna Sevar Katha Shona Sarva Jana Parama Pavitra Seva Ati Sarvotama.
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then informed everyone, just hear about the pure devotional service rendered to Krishna by Raghav Pandit. Indeed, Raghav Pandit's service is supremely pure and highly accomplished. So, we may be offering some devotional service. Here, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is glorifying a devotee about his pure devotional service, and he's saying that his service is supremely pure and highly accomplished. So this conversation or this explanation by the Lord is extremely important for us to set our attitudes right and set our standards, what kind of service standards that we need to have. So hear carefully.
Apart from other commodities, just hear about his offering of coconuts. A coconut is sold at the rate of 5 gandas each. Vatite kachata vrikshe laksha laksha phala tatapi shunina yata mishtanari kela.
Although he already has hundreds of trees and millions of fruits, he's still very eager to hear about the place where sweet coconuts are available. So I'm sure, we are in a coastal region and here many coconut trees are there. And sometimes people do ask that, how's the water? Is it sweet or not sweet? And here is this devotee. He himself has a farm of coconut trees. Hundreds of trees are there where laksha phal, where millions of fruits are there. And yet he keeps inquiring and he keeps knowledge of where there is that coconut available which has very sweet water. Why? So that he can source that coconut specially and offer it to the Lord.
Eka eka mulya diya chari chari pana dasha krosha haite ana kariya yatana. He collects coconut with great endeavor from a place 20 miles away and he pays 4 panas each for them. So the cost for which is 5 gandas, he's paying 4 panas, and this coconut is sourced from like far off places. So he's sourcing those sweet coconuts.
So can we just imagine if we, in his place, we were there, we had a farm, hundreds of trees, millions of fruits, and still we are not sure and we are not happy with the quality.
We are not satisfied.
Satisfied with the quality, and then we are looking, and at that time, 20 miles is a really long distance. We don't really are running around on cars. Maybe they had horses, so it's a great distance, more money. So
and much of an effort.
So much of an effort.
When the coconut is in the backyard.
Is, all around, it seems.
Pratidina pancha sata phala chola nama Shushita lakaridra ke jale dubaina. Every day, 5 to 7 coconuts are clipped and put into water to keep cool. So the coconut itself is a cooling thing, and that is kept inside the water so that it becomes cool.
Once we remember that they had chopped the coconut from all sides. That was the first time I saw. They had clipped the coconut on all sides and they put in ice.
And that coconut water was so delicious.
Yeah. So that's not a new invention.
Yeah.
It was being practiced at least 500 years back.
Bhogera samaya puna choli samaskari Krishna samarpana kare mukha chidrakari. At the time of offering bhoga, the coconuts are again clipped and cleansed. After holes are made in them at the top, they are offered to Lord Krishna. So much care is being taken to serve the best quality coconut water in the best possible way possible. So getting the coconuts from so much of distance and then cooling them and then cleaning them, clipping them, and finally offering to Lord Krishna.
And making sure that they're sweet. Krishna se nari ke jalapan kari kabu shunya phala rakhe kabu jala bhari. Lord Krishna drinks the juice from these coconuts, and sometimes the coconuts are left drained of juice. So Krishna has actually drunk the juice from that coconut, and other times the coconuts remain filled with juice.
Jala shunya phala dekhi pandita harshita phala vangi shasya kari sata patra purita. When Raghav Pandit sees that the juice has been drunk from the coconuts, he is very pleased. He then breaks the coconuts, takes out the pulp and puts it on another plate. Shasya samarpana kari bahire dhyana Shasya khana Krishna kare shunya bhajana.
After offering the pulp, he meditates outside the temple door. In the meantime, Lord Krishna, having eaten the pulp, leaves the plate empty. So it's a full service done. Like some, may go and have a coconut. So first they'll drink the coconut, then give it back, then he'll cut open, take out that pulp. So similarly, the best of coconuts in the best possible way are served to the Lord. And after the Lord has enjoyed the coconut water, then the pulp has been offered. And the Lord eats that and plate is empty. So first the coconut became empty, now the plate is empty and the pulp is not there. Kabushasya khana puna patra bhari shamse Shraddha bade pandit tera prema sindhu bhase.
Sometimes after eating the pulp, Krishna fills the plate again with new pulp. In this way, the faith of Raghav Pandit increases and he floats in an ocean of love. So much of ecstasy because so much of reciprocation from the Supreme Lord. Sometime Lord is drinking the water, sometime Lord is taking the pulp and eating, and sometime Lord is eating that pulp and filling it with new pulp. So Raghav Pandit's such sweet, intimate, close reciprocation with the Supreme Lord.
Ekadina phala dasha samskara kariya bhoga lagamite seva aina. One day, it so happened that about 10 coconuts were properly clipped and brought by a servant to offer to the deity. Avasara nahi haya vilamba haila phala patra hate seva dvarita rahila.
When the coconuts were brought, there was little time to offer them because it was already late. The servant holding the container of coconuts remained standing at the door. So let's see what happens. Dvarera upar bhite te ho hat dila se hate phala chunila pandita dekhila.
Raghav Pandit then saw that the servant touched the ceiling above the door and then touched the coconuts with the same hand. So this became unacceptable to Raghav Pandit.
Pandita he bali loka kari gata yate tare pada dhuli udi lage upar bhite. Raghav Pandit then said, People are always coming and going through that door. The dust from their feet blows up and touches the ceiling. So what has happened? The servant, because he was waiting with these coconuts, he actually touched the ceiling of the door, I mean the top portion of the door, and then with the same hand, like sometime when we are standing and we just keep a hand on the wall or the door for the support. So just that he had done, and then with the same hand, he held the coconut again. So Raghav Pandit said that people are walking here. And when people walk, what happened? The dust, it's there all around, and this dust is from their feet, and the feet dust has gathered or accumulated in that portion where you have touched by your hand. And with that hand, you are touching the coconut again. So this coconut is unacceptable.
Krishna Yogena After touching the ceiling above the door, you have touched the coconuts. Now they are no longer fit to be offered to Krishna because they are contaminated.
Such is the service of Raghav Pandit. He did not accept the coconuts but threw them over the wall. His service is purely based on unalloyed love, and it conquers the whole world. So it's such a beautiful description of our devotional service, which is completely unalloyed. There is no mixture of anything. It's pure unalloyed devotional service. The question may arise, how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knows this? How did he get to know this incident? So actually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is that same Krishna who's sitting there on the altar of Raghav Pandit, and he's seeing. So that is how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knows all these things, and he's glorifying. He's so pleased that he's glorifying Raghav Pandit.
And in Raghav Pandit's heart also.
He's in Raghav.
Thereafter, Raghav Pandit had other coconuts gathered, cleansed, and clipped, and with great attention, he offered them to the deities to eat. So it was when the beginning of this particular incident, it was mentioned that the time was very less, and then the coconuts were brought, and then whatever happened, the coconuts were contaminated,
Discarded.
Yeah, and yet Raghav Pandit did not compromise on that. He had the other lot done.
And he's not even thinking that it's so expensive.
Yeah.
Let it be.
Just wash and bring.
Yeah.
Hey Matakala Amra Naranga Kantala Yaha Dura Grame Shuniya Chabala.
In this way, from distant villages, he collects excellent bananas, mangoes, oranges, jackfruits, and whatever other first-class fruits he has heard about.
So this is very true, na? People who have resources, they will organize, for example, Alfonso mangoes from Ratnagiri, and then some mango from here and some mango from there. But they will do all that for their own sense gratification. But here we see that Raghav Pandit, he knows which place, what fruit is of excellent quality. So from that place, get the bananas. From that place, get the mangoes. And from here, oranges would be very nice. So like that, he collects the first-class fruits that he has heard about.
All these fruits are collected from distant places and bought at a high price. After trimming them with great care and purity, Raghav Pandit offers them to the deity.
So here we have, apples coming from some distant country, grapes coming from somewhere, guava coming from some other country. So like that, collected at pay high price. Hey Mata Vyanjanira Shakamula Phala. Hey Mata Chira Hodo Sandesha Sakala. Thus, with great care and attention, Raghav Pandit prepared spinach, other vegetables, radishes, fruits, chipped rice, powdered rice, and sweet meat. So it's not just the fruits, But there are other items also he offers to the Lord, a full-fledged bhoga. Mata pitha pana kshira odana parama pavitra ara kare sarvatama.
He prepares cakes, sweet rice, condensed milk, and everything else with great attention. And the cooking conditions are purified so that the food is first class and delicious. So this is his mood actually. What we are talking about, the mood and attitude of devotional service. So whatever be the preparation, everything he does it with great attention. So attention to the details is a symptom of love. So he has so much of love for the Supreme Lord that whatever he is offering, he ensures that it is first class and it is very delicious also.
Raghav Pandit also offers all kinds of pickles such as kashamdi. So kashamdi, type of pickles. I don't know whether it's kasundi.
I think
We
it is
call it
Kashmiri.
present days. He offers various scents, gandha and garments, vastra, alankar, different ornaments, the best. Sarvadravya sar, all the best items he offers to the Lord.
Thus, Raghav Pandit serves the Lord in an incomparable way. Everyone is very much satisfied just to see him. So this is the glorification of Raghav Pandit. And don't think that such people existed at that time. And probably it's a description because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was personally present and that is why it was happening. I mean, even today's time, like we personally know one devotee who's so consistent. Like we personally know him for almost 18, 19 years. And for everything, whatever he has to offer to the deities, he makes sure it is first class, no matter how much money he has to pay and from where he has to source. I mean, he's staying here in Chennai and we personally know him and we find him so inspiring that for everything he says, no, deities co-offering means it has to be top class.
So we know not just one, we know few devotees, few devotees are like that, and at least two families, they have an exclusive room for the deities which is air conditioned, and all the care is taken and given to the lordships. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then mercifully embraced Raghav Pandit. The Lord also offered all the other devotees a farewell with similar respect. So this is also something that Lord is teaching by his own conduct, that even so when we receive a guest, when we receive a devotee, we offer sweet words and of course water and a place to sit, and we inquire about his well-being and his family, and we offer him prasadam, and same thing when the devotee is leaving, when there's a farewell, the Lord is individually glorifying them, offering them respect, and offering them a farewell, embracing them. In case of Shiva's Pandit, putting a hand around his neck, embracing devotees. Shivananda Sene Kahe Kariya Sammana Vasudeva Dattere Tomi Kari Samadhana.
The Lord also respectfully told Shivananda Sen, take care of Vasudeva Datta very nicely. We will see why Mahaprabhu specifically asking to take care of Vasudeva Datta.
So Lord has begun his instructions to Shivananda Sen. Parama udarani ho ye din ye aase se din vyaya kare nahi rakhe sheshe. Vasudeva Datta is very liberal. Every day, whatever income he receives, he spends. He does not keep any balance. So how can a family man run his family like this?
Grihastham hai nahi ho chahiye sanchaya sanchayana kaile kotum bharanahi haya. So grihasthon ko sanchay means saving some money. Being a householder, Vasudev Datta needs to save some money. Because he's not doing so, it is very difficult for him to maintain his family. Because he's not saving any money. Whatever money comes in, that most likely he spends all that money not in his sense gratification, but serving the Vaishnavas. So whatever money comes, he spends it, and that is why it is difficult for him to maintain the family. Ihara ghare vyaya sab tomara sthane, sara khela hana tumi kariha samadhane.
So he's telling Shivananda the same, Lord is telling Shivananda the same. So please take care of Vasudev Datta. Vasudev Datta's family affairs. Become his manager and make proper adjustments. So he's not able to do, so please help him. So sometimes we see that a devotee has great devotion, but he's struggling in some part of his material life. And Lord is instructing some more mature devotee or more skilled devotee or more capable devotee to provide that assistance and that help.
प्रतिवर्षे आमर Come every year and bring all my devotees with you to the Gundicha festival. I also request you to maintain all of them. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knows that Shivananda Sen is very meticulous in organizing the trips, planning, bringing, taking care of the devotees, everything. So he is giving this instruction to Shivananda Sen that you please come every year and bring all the devotees with you also. And on the way, en route, whatever required, please maintain them, which means please take care of them. Kulina gramire kahe sammana kariya pratyabda asibe yatraye pittarilana.
The Lord then with great respect extended an invitation to all the inhabitants of Kulin Gram, asking them to come every year and bring silken robes to carry Lord Jagannath during the Rath Yatra festival. So Lord then offered great respect. With great respect, he extended an invitation to all the Kulin Gram Vasis, the inhabitants of Kulin Gram, and he asked them that you please bring the patta dori, the silken rope with which the Lord Jagannath's cart is pulled. So every year you please come for a yatra, Rath Yatra, and bring those silken ropes. Guna Rajakhana Shri Krishna Vijaya Taha Eka Vakya Tanra Ache Prema Maya.
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then said, Gunaraj Khan of Kulina Gram compiled a book named Sri Krishna Vijay, in which there is a sentence revealing the author's ecstatic love of Krishna. So this devotee Gunaraj Khan, he is also very dear to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Mahaprabhu is specially appreciating his book. So this book is Sri Krishna Vijay, and this book is written in a very simplified, colloquial Bengali, which it is said that one need not be very educated or intelligent to understand that. So it talks about the glories of the Supreme Lord, and anyone can understand it. It is written in such a format. Also, that book is not like grammatically or that been like not very beautifully or eloquently written, but the bhav, the feelings have been exhibited so beautifully, captured so wonderfully, that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu likes this book.
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, so now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is quoting that line from Sri Krishna Vijay. What line is that? Nandan Nandan Krishna Mora Prananath. Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj, is my life and soul. That Lord Krishna, who is the son of Maharaj Nanda, Nanda Nandan, he is my Prananath. He is the master of my life. He is my life and soul. By this statement, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saying, I am sold into the hands of the descendants of Gunaraj Khan. So I'm not just sold to this devotee, I am sold to the descendants, Gunaraj Khan and his all generations to come, Vamshera. I am sold to all of them into the hands of those descendants.
Tomara ki katha tomar gramera kukura sei mora priya anya janara hudura. What an expression. Mahaprabhu is saying, Tomar ki katha, tumhari kya baat hai? What to talk of you? Tomar gramer kukur sei mora priya. Even the dog of your village is very dear to me. So what to speak of others? So that is how dear these Kulinagram Vasis are to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That he is saying that even a dog living in your village is very dear to me. Tabe Ramananda Satyaraj Khana Prabhu Rachani Kichu Kailani Vedana.
After this, Ramananda Vasu and Satyaraj Khan both submitted questions at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So here we see very interesting question being asked and a profound answer being given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Shri Mukhe Agyakara Prabhu Nivedicharan.
Satyaraj Khan said, My dear Lord, being a householder and a materialistic man, I do not know the process of advancing in spiritual life. I therefore submit myself unto your lotus feet and request you to give me orders. So if we remember in the last session, we saw that how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave this specific order to Satyaraj Khan and Ramananda Vasu to every year bring that silken rope, because Mahaprabhu was a little disappointed when he saw that the rope got broken in between. So these are the two devotees whom Mahaprabhu had given that instruction, and now one of them is asking that I submit myself unto your lotus feet and request you to give me orders.
And also, this is a very common question. A lot of people ask this, people think that for taking up Krishna consciousness or advancing spiritual life, one has to take sannyas. One has to give up his job, one has to give up his family especially. People think like this. This is a very common thought process that to advance spiritual life, we have to leave all that we are doing. We have to give up our family duties and, then only we can advance. And same question is being asked by Satyaraj Khan. Of course, this shows the humility of Satyaraj Khan. Lord is glorifying the whole Kulin Gramvasis.
The dog.
And the dog. And of course, Satyaraj Khan. And here Satyaraj Khan, in a very humble disposition, is saying, being a householder, I'm a Vishayi, materialistic man. I do not know how to advance in spiritual life. So please give me orders. Please enlighten me in this behalf. So it's good for all of us to hear the answers.
It's interesting to see that all these amazing, amazing devotees whom Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is glorifying as if he has 100 mouths, all of them are householders. All the grihastas. Prabhu kahe Krishna seva, Vaishnava sevana, Nirantara kara Krishna nama sankirtana. So what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling, he is giving 3 specific things. Without cessation, continue chanting the holy name of Lord Krishna. Whenever possible, serve him and his devotees, the Vaishnav. So Krishna Seva, Vaishnav Seva, and Nirantar Kar Krishna Nama Sankirtan. Krishna Seva, Vaishnav Seva, and Nam Sankirtan. Basically 3 things which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is instructing to Satyaraj Khan, to Kulinagram devotees, and to each one of us.
So engrave this in your memories. Satyaraja Bale Vaishnava Chini Bake Mane Ke Vaishnava Kaha Tanra Samanya Lakshane. Upon hearing this, Satyaraj said, how can I recognize a Vaishnava? Lord, I know, but how do I recognize a devotee? So that if I can recognize him, I can offer him some service. So let me know what a Vaishnava is. What are his common symptoms, Samanya Lakshan? Prabhu kahe andra mukhe shuni ekabara Krishna nama ye pujya shreshta sabakara.
So Mahaprabhu is defining a Vaishnava here. And what he's saying, whoever chants the holy name of Krishna How many times? 16 rounds, 32 rounds? Mahaprabhu is saying just once. Whoever chants the holy name of Krishna just once is worshipable and is the topmost human being. Eka Krishna nama Gauri Sārvabhauma Navamida Bhakti Purna Nama Haitehaya.
Simply by chanting the holy name of Krishna once, a person is relieved from all the reactions of his sinful life. One can complete the 9 processes of devotional service simply by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So these are the, so Lord is saying that even once who chants, he is the topmost among all human beings. And he's explaining that if one chants even once Krishna's name, all the reactions of his sinful life are destroyed. Now, we don't have reactions only from this life. We have reactions of sinful acts done in the past life and the life before that, and for how long they have been doing sinful activities, we don't even remember. All those reactions are destroyed. So all the material reactions are destroyed. And the essence of 9 process devotional service, one can complete these 9 processes of devotional service like Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam simply by chanting the holy name.
Diksha
Apeksha na kare Jiva sparshe achandala sabare udhare.
Now the question may arise, who can chant? What purificatory things I have to undergo for chanting? So Mahaprabhu is telling one does not have to undergo initiation or execute the activities required before initiation. One simply has to vibrate the holy name with his lips. Thus, even a man in the lowest class, Chandal, can be delivered. So actually, sometimes in our temple, some people come and they come to the restaurant, but they don't go up for taking darshan. And we ask, why you're not going for the darshan? And they say that today afternoon, I had some non-veg food. So I can't go there. What is mentioned here, Mahaprabhu is telling that a Chandal is actually the dog eater, those who would eat dogs. So Mahaprabhu is telling that even a man in the lowest class, in the Chandal class, can be delivered just by chanting the holy names with his lips. He need not do any achaman. He need not be like taking birth in a pious family or any qualification. There is absolutely no qualification.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Anusanga phale kare samsare vishaya chitta akashiya karay Krishna premodaya.
By chanting the holy name of the Lord, one dissolves his entanglement in material activities. So currently we are so much entangled. What are my parents doing? What are my studies? What is my wife doing? What is my husband? What are my children doing? What are my grandchildren doing? I am so much entangled in this material activity, but by chanting the holy names, my entanglement in this material world, in the entanglement in the material relationships is dissolved. After this, one becomes very much attracted to Krishna, and thus dormant love for Krishna is awakened. So the dormant love for God is residing in every living entity's heart. And the process to revive that love for God, which is already residing in the heart, is to chant the holy names of the Lord. Krishna Nama Sita Vaishnava Tahara Sammana.
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then finally advised, one who's chanting the Hare Krishna mantra is understood to be a Vaishnav. Therefore, you should offer all respects to him. So the question was that what do I do? Because I am a Vishayi, I am a materialistic person. So Mahaprabhu said 3 things: Krishna Seva, Vaishnav Sevan, and Nama Sankirtan. Serving Krishna, serving his devotees, and chanting the holy names. So of this chanting holy names and serving Krishna, he knew, but he asked the next question, that how do I recognize the Vaishnava? And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was telling, anyone who's chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is understood to be a Vaishnava. Hare Krishna,
Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
So all of us are very, very fortunate to hear about wonderful Lord and his wonderful devotees from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta. And we are eternally grateful to Srila Prabhupada for giving us this most excellent of all scriptures. Hare Krishna.
So today's session was full of instructions. So please write back to us. What are the instructions which you gathered and how can that help you in progressing or advancing in your spiritual life? Thank you all. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare